Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
I had a email from a fan I want to share with you guys because I thought it was worth sharing. They said, "Hello, Fresh Out, aka Big Herc. First off, before I ask you my question, I just want to say that I recently found your YouTube channel back in late March of 2017, and you've motivated me to study up on my medical books. I'm currently taking EMT classes and am taking my NREMT exam in 3 weeks and am aspiring to go to paramedic school afterwards. And beyond that, I'm aspiring to become a surgeon for a hospital. Every time I watch your videos, it's helped me appreciate my family a lot more for what love I have. For example, one of the rougher moments of my life would have been when my parents are divorced and have been since 2012. However, I still do routinely see my father, and I live with my mother, and watching your videos have made me appreciate what they do for me in the long run. Now, down to the actual questions, ranging from EMTs, nurses, doctors, and so on. How would a medical professional be treated in prison? Do inmates see us as valuable potential recruits? Do inmates respect what them did for their occupations, which was literally save lives? How did medical professionals often conduct themselves in the feds? Also, an unrelated medical question. I understand there's a large racial divide in U.S. prisons. Mexicans, blacks, and whites being in their own separate gangs, and so on. Using your experience, do you think that there is any way to stop this racial divide in prisons? What steps would you take to stop it? I apologize if I address these in other videos, but anyways, I have seen a lot, and it seems to have those you have been very educating in these different topics. Thanks. Well, as far as the value of medical staff in prison, don't go get a job in a prison, man. Get you a job in a real hospital, where you're respected and you don't have to deal with the bullshit. I would never, ever recommend a person who has an education and the potential to do something with their life to go get a job in the Bureau of Prisons or as a correctional officer. There's too many other things you could do. Psychologically, you're locking yourself up along with these other barbarians, and you're not really around people who are there by consent. So when you go and you actually help somebody, they're mad as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Whether they've been stabbed, whether they're sick, whether they're, not feeling good because of their situation, for one. And then they know at the same time, the BOP, the Bureau of Prisons, or the wherever you're locked up at, the state facility, they're not really going to give you the highest level of medical treatment to begin with. So you as a medical professional, when you're trying to administer certain things, you're limited. You're not going to be able to give this person the actual attention they need or for what you would give a person who is free. So fuck working in the Bureau of Prisons. It's a fucked up situation. I've seen dudes go in there and they're talking about their stomach hurt. The guys who were in pain, they gave him aspirin. One motherfucker, he died. He got some aspirin, went back to the cell. He had been cramped up for a couple of days. He died. Bled out internally. You know what I mean? No, there was no explanation. They didn't tell us exactly what happened, but word was he bled out internally. So the medical treatment is shitty. Fortunately, I had a medical incident working out, got injured, and because I knew how to push that pin and file a lot of paperwork, they got me to the hospital within an hour, maybe less. But like I said, I'm one of the few. Other people, when they got hurt or something happened, they told them to go lay down. That's just how the game goes. So not everybody's treated accordingly in prison, but if you had your choice, get you a job on the street, because working in a prison, you're going to be exposed to a lot of bullshit and it ain't worth it. On your second question regarding Mexicans, blacks, and whites being in prison and racial divide, man, the guards, the institutions, that's what they push. They like the racial divide. They're never going to want there to be any unity in prison. And because of this whole racial shit that they keep pushing, see, anytime there's any inclination of a unity, they're going to send in somebody to break all that shit up. Some racial motherfucker who basically is just on prison time. So as far as intellect and dealing with somebody you can have an intelligent conversation with to get past the race issue and whatever past issues you had among the races, it ain't gonna happen because, like I said, if you were to start advocating that, they would send somebody in there to put a hit on you. Plain and simple. They would, let them know, hey man, this guy's a troublemaker, even though you're trying to create something positive, and they would probably transfer somebody from another institution that's a hitter, and he would come in there and they would probably load him up with commissary and let him split your wig. So it's a lot of bullshit politics when it comes on to race. I hope I answered your questions.